The next voice you hear may change your life forever. This is the voice of the chaplain of a ministry like no other. Here he is now, making his way to the microphone. Please help us in welcoming the chaplain, Chaplain Dennis Keith Hale.
Yeah! Thanks for that great introduction. Hi, everybody, and glad of it. I'm Chaplain Dennis Keith Hale, coming to you from the Lighter Than Air Ministries in Cotati, California. Thank you so much for joining us. I want to thank all the people who get in touch with us every week. We know that this is the way to handle stressful times. We know here at this ministry that you can get yourself out of the blues and cooking and get right, as we say. Get right with yourself. And I'm talking about using music and marijuana. Behold the power of music, for it is real. And you pair it with marijuana, we call it the perfect pairing, and you have a stress buster that's unlike any other. I'm all for meditation, I'm all for yoga, and appreciate those as wonderful skills for both mind and body. But so many of us don't have a spirituality in our life. But many of us smoke marijuana, and I believe that's a spirituality, and you know it. I believe your decision to smoke marijuana was a spiritual decision where you decided that you wanted to get outside yourself. You want to have a progressive example of life, and you can find it. The number one problem that we have is we come into contact with people who are stressed out. Plain and simple. Now, the first thing we tell everybody, of course, is turn off your TV set. Get rid of the boob tube, because it's all negative. It's all negative going into you. It's all about how things are not working properly. When your harmony that you find in your life is all about things working properly, just as you are synchronized with your mother's heartbeat, you go through life and your children are synchronized with yours. We all have a little problem going with stress, and we can tell you that music will go to your music. That'll stop your stress immediately. But we encourage people, yes, we actually encourage people to smoke marijuana. I know, and I have to say that we only are encouraging adults, of course. But we want you to pair music and marijuana and de-stress. Having a little puff now and then can really take the edge off of whatever this is, this strange menagerie of beasts that are making up our society now. People with flipped hair and closed minds, and it's not good. So if you want to beat the stress, think of all those self-help books, personal confidence and public speaking, and go out and join the Toastmasters of America. Someone suggested that to me recently. And I don't doubt that they're a great organization. But I'm about change. And we have change coming in this industry. And they're calling it the marijuana industry. I've been knowing of marijuana for 50 years, half a century. I never saw an industry. I saw like-minded individuals who were out there, who decided to grow. They had the land, and they put themselves in jeopardy for all those years for us. They put themselves, their land, their family in jeopardy. Robbers, cops and robbers, I guess you'd say. All sorts of nuts. And yet they served an industry. They made an industry. They made a group of people who could go to them in confidence, get marijuana. They weren't going to find out about it at a job. It was a confidence that they kept. The people who grew marijuana were more than just farmers. These were people who were dedicated to what they were doing. And around here, I'm on the southern base of what they would call the Emerald Triangle, where some of the finest marijuana in the world is grown. And so many people here have actually gravitated to here because of that, because of the vibe that it puts out and the type of people that it makes, where people accept this and have a common denominator, if you will, that getting high is okay. I'd like to see this spread all over the world, of course, and this program reaches out every week to India, I'm aware of, and I wonder how many other places. I guess it's called Crazy Californians in India, but we mean what we say here. We're not crazy. So if you're stressed out, here's your way to get around it. If you're stressed out, I want you to go and get your music. Turn off your TV and get your music. And if you're sick, if you think you have a medical need for marijuana and don't have a recommendation, get one now. Go and see a doctor. They're listed as marijuana doctors, let's face it. They're people who listen to your woes and decide whether or not a prescription of marijuana might in fact help you. If you need help finding one of those doctors, contact this ministry, because we know but the compassionate doctors out there. We know the ones who understand that this herb grew along with us, evolved along with mankind, and will serve us better than anything else. We are predisposed. Our psyche, our body, has a niche waiting to be filled by marijuana. Give it a try. It's only been around 30,000 years that we know of. I'm sure it was around even further. So that on this week's show, I want to make sure that the new industry, the marijuana industry that has trade associations and all this stuff like overnight, we want to make sure that there's a spot for the small farmer, and that they understand that this person has a higher level of knowledge than they'll ever have through all these years. We have second and third generations now of people growing marijuana and selling it to people like myself who wanted to get a little further away, a little different perspective. On that, I'd like to thank a few people. Let's see. Tempest, that's a great name. Tempest and Jill, Larry, Faith, and Johnny G. That's the folks who got in touch with us this week, where I could actually say, I could repeat what they said. I'm a little worried because we are getting a lot of hate mail and such, and I don't know what that's all about, because we have to love each other. We have to get along. There's no choice. On that, I'd like to end the show as we always do. As you go through your life, I hope that when you need it, that you find mercy. And when you go, I hope you go in grace. Thank you very much. Good night.
Thank you for listening to our weekly moment of reflection and celebration, the spiritual side of cannabis. On behalf of this ministry of service, the Lighter Than Air Ministries, we say thank you for listening. Please join us again next week. Good night, and may you go with grace.